became pretty good at it. And I got some good tips too. So anyway, but here you are here, and your daughter is helping you.
Yes, she's the executive director, and I'm president of the board, and
Okay.
we work this place together
And you seem
with the
to
volunteers.
with the volunteers, and you have you had to study a lot of history about this place because you wanted to be prepared because
Oh yeah.
people wants to know.
Oh yes, people love the history of this place. People love history.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's the part that was neglected. You know, they typically showed the furniture
Yes.
and the secret places and all
Yes.
of the
Yes.
the furniture, but they didn't make the Overholtzers real people to
Yes.
the public.
Yes.
And that's what we do.
You know, I wanted to say this too. I did a tour one time, and there was an older guy came in there, and after the tour, when I got to telling them, they didn't use any hand tools because that's what we were taught. They all this by hand. He walked out the door and he came back in by himself. He said, "Young man, I want you to know that he did use a tool, like he knew, or so, I don't know, but he wanted to explain." I said, "Really?" He said, "I was back then."
He used hand tools, but not power tools.
Okay. He said he did, but again,
No.
it could have been somebody that just,
No.
thought he knew.
There was no electric here.
Yes,
So he could there. Where would you plug it in?
exactly.
There was no.
Well, now you have some books you said you sold out. You sold out because,
Oh, we published Mrs. Overholtzer's journal.
okay,
She left a record written in pencil on scrap paper, and she documented each piece her husband worked on. And my daughter and I transcribed it in 2007. We got the copyright in 2008 as an original source document, and we self-publish it and sell it to the
Wow.
public because it's the only record of what happened here and how it happened and about their personal lives. There's plenty of interesting things about them. They were pioneers.
how did you get your hands on it?
It was in the kitchen when we moved in.
And like the drawers or something like that, or
It was in the kitchen drawer.
and it was written like on different pieces of paper, just
On
hand.
her junk mail. She
Junk
just
mail.
flip it over and in pencil document everything.
Wow, you guys, you got a lot of patience to be able to go through stuff like that and to have that done because it needed to be done.
It took 2 months to transcribe it.
That's amazing.
And now the journal sits in a safe deposit box at the bank.
Yes.
But we publish it to let the public know that without her support and encouragement, this would not be here.
Yes. So you seem to really enjoy doing what you're doing.
I do.
And knowing what you know, and you're such an asset to this county, really, because we need more and more people to be able to be into their work like this lady, and to be able to research things and not take people's word for it, but to actually look it up, read up, and you know how to do these things. You know how to look into things, and you've got some experience at it, and you got some knowledge and understanding of the past.
I love history, I always have. I majored in it in college. And a lot of things, you'd be surprised. Truth is stranger than fiction.
Okay.
And it helped that my family preserved this little stuff I brought today.
Yes.
Is not even the tip
Not
of
even
the
the tip of the
iceberg.
ice.
I have so much.
I'm sure.
And it's a privilege, really, to
Wonderful.
tell the truth about Idlewild. Truth knocks the air right out. But to bring up one more thing.
Go ahead.
No, 2 more.
Okay.
About Idlewild. The socioeconomic reasons for the decline of Idlewild were great. And I think we mentioned the drug culture. When the drug culture moved in the early 70s, then a lot of the grandchildren of people went into foster care.
Mm.
You couldn't bring your grandkids up here. And the drug culture, it destroyed everything.
Drug culture, can you explain that a little bit?
Yes, with the free love, the hippies, all of that, okay, the drug culture came right along with that.
Okay.
And it seemed like there was always, I'm not saying it was new, there were always drugs.
Yes, of course.
But in the everyday lives of everyday people, it was just infused into the communities.
And let me say that I worked at the sheriff department for 30 years, and there were a lot of, I would say, meth labs in the woods because it was
Oh,
you couldn't
yeah.
get to them. So I can see how they would do it. I can see they come from the cities through the little woods up here, and then associate and assert themselves. So
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
I can
Oh,
see
yeah.
that happening.
That was a contributing factor too.
Okay.
You know, and then the other thing was in the early 70s, there was a lot of problems with the foreign policy in America.
Okay.
And there was an oil embargo placed on America in the early 70s. And you couldn't buy a full tank of gas to get up here. It takes like 2 tanks of gas.
Okay, get up here from.
Cleveland.
What were the cars made different that it took 2 tanks of gas or something?
Cleveland is like it's almost 500 miles away from here.
Yes. Okay.
And if you could only buy gas
Okay.
every other day, because
Yes.
they were rationing the
Yes.
gas.
Wow. In the 70s.
This is the early 70s. And they froze the wages and prices because the economy got so bad, inflation got so bad.
Yeah.
And then the oil embargo, and it hurt. It didn't stop. People will always find a way
Yeah,
to
find
do
a way
what
to
they
do it,
want to
yeah.
do, but very few. But it hurt Idlewild.
Yes.
And it wasn't the civil rights movement. No, it was a multitude of other
Yes. Everything coming together
socioeconomic
too.
reasons.
It wasn't just one thing.
No.
All right. Because people always associate it with what's that word they use when people were free to go everywhere they want to. What do they call it? I can't remember what they called it on some of our podcasts. But they said when that came, that's when Idlewild, or that's when it got worse, when they
No.
started going different places.
No, because people had built homes there, and they still came. You know, they carried it on. Some
Yes.
did, but it was difficult. You know, I remember when the riots got so bad in Cleveland. I don't know about other places, but they were setting everything on fire. And the fire departments would go and try to put the fires out, and the rioters were stoning them. So what they did, they told all the black firefighters, "You go put the fires out in the inner city." And my dad had to go, and he couldn't get off. He had to go and work.
Yes.
You know, but it was really bad. We could, you know, my granddad's the same thing. The civil rights people, people were afraid. You know, the Malcolm X types.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and Martin Luther King, my family was not really a fan of his.
Okay.
And
Was it mostly Malcolm X?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
You
good,
know,
okay.
by any means necessary.
No. Yes. Yes.
Okay. And that was the truth back then.
Wow.
But Martin Luther King, I'm not saying he was
No,
wrong.
go ahead.
I'm saying that it was hand in hand.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe that.
He served the church community and the nonviolent people. And then Malcolm X served the people who weren't afraid.
I think you needed them both.
You need them both.
You see what I mean? Because in everything, you know, and I was talking to a young lady about the same thing, how strong she is on Malcolm X and how strong she is on this, where the opposite, now I do believe in some of the things she speak about, most of it, but I'm in a different way how to approach it. She's more aggressive, I'm more not, and I think you need them both in order to get in
Back
certain
then
things.
you did.
Yeah.
Now people look, they don't like aggression. You
No,
know,
they don't.
everybody, you know.
But you still need it. You need them
You
both.
know, but back then it was some serious stuff. You know, and they were doing terrible things
Yes.
to us.
Okay.
And Malcolm knew it, but he fought it a different
Yes.
way.
Yes. Yes.
But both were needed.
Yes, you see what I mean. So we're on the same level.
Oh yeah.
It's just I wish a lot of people would understand that, because if the younger generation would understand what we had to do or people had to do to get us to this point, they would appreciate things better instead of hurting each other. And that's what we see mostly black on black crime, the shootings, and it just kills me. And in the prison when I worked as a guard, I would always ask the young black 21-year-old, because they had to be 18 when if you come into prison. And I would ask most of those 18, 19. I said, if you got into a fight with somebody on the street, would you shoot them? I mean, if you lost, yeah, that's our code. We're going to shoot them. What about if your partner was wrong? You're helping them out. We'll jump in, fight, and we'll decide that later on. But it's all about killing and no love. You see what I mean? And it's not like it used to be, where we love more.
No, because people are spiritually, especially the young, are spiritually bankrupt now.
Yeah.
And they just don't have what we had, the appreciation that we had, the gratitude.
Yes.
They don't have it, and they don't want it.
So, Miss Nelson, this has just been beautiful. And I'm going to ask this final thing. Where are you in what you believe? You know what I'm saying? As far as, you go to church around here, or basically, did you used to?
I'm a Sabbath-keeping Christian.
Okay. Sabbath keep? Okay. Okay,
Yes.
so basically a Sabbath, 7-day Adventist.
No, I'm not a Seventh-day.
All right, okay.
There are others.
Okay.
And I
didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. And we keep the 7th-day Sabbath, but I'm not a Seventh-day Adventist, and I'm a believer.
You're a believer. That's what I want to know. Okay.
And the way that my family has always been believers, and we appreciate and believe and love God, and always have in the generations.
Yes.
And I try to foster that going down, in my family.
Yes.
Because I have 8 great-grandchildren. I have 7 and I'm another one on the way.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, great-grandchildren.
Wow.
See, so that's the only thing that's going to help.
Okay, I agree.
But for Idlewild, I think that it used to be, I don't know what it is now, and I think it might be the same way. The young would grow up and then they'd leave. They would go other places. But what is needed, if I may say this,
Yes.
The governor, Jennifer Granholm,
Yes.
if you remember her, she sent a commission to investigate Idlewild, and they documented everything, even down to the wildflowers. And I have a copy of the plan that they drew up, and to make Idlewild a city. Yes, the Idlewild, and then the plan is highlighted as the steps, the first steps that should be taken, how the order, and the state. I have a copy of the document that includes the parts of Idlewild that are in Cherry Valley and Pleasant Plains. The Idlewild spans 3 townships.
Okay.
And we could have that plan implemented if we had the right people with the right the spirit of cooperation, and bring Idlewild up to where it will never be what it was.
Of course.
But where it should be.
You think that that would help by implementing that plan?
Of course it would help.
Okay.
It would. That was the idea of the plan.
Yes.
To bring people, businesses in here.
Yes.
But you need the young, okay? They all want to go to college, go to college. Well, you know what? They took away the trade schools. They told everybody that they had to sit in an office.
Yeah.
Nobody knows how to do anything anymore. We need plumbers, we need carpenters, we need bricklayers, we need people that can build homes. We need the young.
Yeah.
And we need money. We can get the money that's our part, Idlewild's part, from the other townships. And we can have our own community, because right now all we have is a zip